how do you move from anger and disappointment to empowerment? And the simple answer is you do something. And that's what I'm going to do, and I'll demonstrate it for you. I was very angry this morning because I was disappointed. They came together. Now, the reason I was angry is because I had scheduled an interview that I was going to do today with someone I've been waiting for quite a long time, because I knew this was going to be the thing that I could use then to tell everyone about my work, because this is going to really help me. And so I was angry because it was canceled. And I didn't have any notice, and I've been waiting on this for a few weeks, and I had everything planned in terms of how I was going to move my program forward, and I was going to justify the price increase, because now everyone would know how I did this and what was included, because I was going to do this really great interview. That's why I was angry. And then I was disappointed because I had put all my eggs in that basket, so to speak, because I knew that once I had this, then I would be okay. Then I could go and tell everyone what I had, and I could justify the higher price that I knew I had to charge when I started changing. I've been changing my website, been changing the program, because I knew I needed to charge much more. Now, and I was angry because I was angry at myself. That is typically where most of us will find the source of our anger. It's because of something we're not doing. And that makes sense, because the thing that we're meant to do is in front of us, but it's something unknown to us, something we have not experienced, and we will hesitate before we move into that place. And that's what I did. And I knew I was doing that because I've worked with everyone doing that kind of behavior, but there's always another level. We only experience ourselves in our consciousness. That's it. And that consciousness can grow and expand. And if you put in the time and effort to cause that to happen, then you experience your life in a very different way. And you would never be angry. You would never feel disappointment, because in this other realm, in this other dimension of which you move to, when you start working with your consciousness, you see things in an entirely new way. And so what did I do? When I saw this, I emailed back and I said, okay, I guess I'm supposed to be patient. I'm trying to be forgiving here. But then I sat and I meditated, because I always receive information. This is how I've done everything. And then I knew right away why this had happened. It was to cause me to get out of the way and become empowered, and not rely on someone else to tell my story. And I have to be the one to do that, and I have to own it, which is why I'm guiding everyone to own your story and to own it completely, because you are meant to be this unique being that came into the world at this particular time to offer something to the world that could cause your life to be better and the world. Now, how did I know that? Well, because I'm a sage and a mystic, and those were the words that I could not tell you, because I'm also very introverted and I didn't want to be out there. But I also know what's happening in our world, and I can no longer do that. When I was told from my guides that I was given everything that anyone could need to know in 2012, this information came to me in 2021, and that seemed crazy. That couldn't have possibly happened, except I come to my computer and I find the messages from 2012 that were laying this out, and then the information became very clear. What was happening is that because of the life that I have lived, I have moved through every imaginable human problem, difficulty, failure, anything, all the disappointment. I've moved through all of them. But what I did was I also channeled information that could help anyone move through those difficulties. We all come into the world with a specific thing that we're meant to do, that we're meant to offer. No one's exempt from that. We just don't always own it. The message on my site today, on Any Advice for Today, says you have always known your life purpose. And that's true. I've always known, but sometimes we don't own that, and it's with every single person. This is a process of developing your consciousness, and it's every single person. There's no place, as long as we're alive, where we stop doing that. We just choose maybe not to go into that next level, which could bring us all the joy and abundance and everything we could possibly want. And I have known this, but also it was my issue that I needed to move through, was worrying about what others might think. I can't do that anymore. I already had the proof of this. Even last year, in almost 2 years now, but in 2021, when I first put out the program and people started trying it, I was shocked at how well it worked. And then they were even telling me I've done programs with Tony Robbins and Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, and Abraham Hicks, but this seemed faster. And I couldn't hear that because, again, I had to accept this in my consciousness just as you do. Every single person goes through the same process. We know now that it's mindset, and we know that it's our neurotransmitters that we have created or allowed to remain that cause us to live the lives that we have now. And what is occurring in our world is that many people have not understood their importance, which is why we have chaos and wars and all of the things that you see happening now. It's a culmination of lower vibrational energies that we have all carried, every single person, we've all carried them within us over generations. And now they're here because our planet is moving through a change, a planetary ascension. I call it a spiritual awakening, and my guides have said it's a restructuring, meaning everything's going to be different. I happen to be a person who had the life, we all have given life paths we're meant to traverse, and mine was moving through everything so that I could give this pathway back to others. And it was a philosophy that I have developed, and people like me who've been made sages or mystics typically will develop a philosophy because that's how civilizations evolve. But we have to also own that. And mine is this. What I have is something that can take an individual to lead them to who they're meant to be so that they can live this extraordinary life, so that they can move through all the difficulties and challenges that I did. You don't have to do that. That's the point. That's the point of all of us. We each have that and we give it back. Sometimes we only think about giving it to our kids or whatever, but it's bigger than that. It is about the collective consciousness of our world. And all of the things that you see occurring now is because there's too many dark energies that are happening, that are occurring now, but they're there to cause more of us to awaken to the light and love that is within us. And we can only do that when we choose to honor who we are. And that's the step of empowerment that every person is meant to take in their lives, unless we choose not to. Unless we choose to hold back and become insignificant in our own lives, and then we don't make a difference to the world. Well, now I know what I have, and I can no longer do that. The interview will happen, and I will use it, and I will put it out there, but I'm still going to move ahead with my plans because I have to up my prices. I have to change everything because I can't undervalue who I am, and I never want anyone else to do that, to undervalue who you are, because it's challenging at first because you don't know what you've created, you don't know what you've accumulated until you take this deep dive and go back and examine it, which is exactly what my program, my work has you to accomplish. And so that's what I'm doing. So the way that you move beyond your anger and disappointment is to do something. And the anger, again, is typically at yourself because you're not moving in some way, and the disappointment is because you think you can't do something. You are depending on someone else to do it for you. No, you have it within you. We all do. Everyone was born with equal ability, talent, and skills. We just have to decide that we're going to own that. But we do need guides and help. That's why we do courses, have mentors and coaches, as I've had. But now I have the guide that can take anyone to exactly who they're supposed to be.